Good morning. Today we will discuss about full wave rectifier. So in full wave rectifier, as the name implies, the full cycle of the AC input power is being converted into DC. Okay, so this can be achieved by including two diodes in the circuit diagram. For the positive half cycle of input voltage, one diode supplies current to the load, and for the negative half cycle, the other diodes, and the arrangement is made so that the current being always in the same direction through the output load resistance. Therefore, full wave rectifier utilizes both the half cycles of input AC voltage to produce DC at the output. Okay, so for the full wave rectifier, for both the half cycles, positive and negative half cycles, output is produced as DC at the output. This can be achieved by using two diodes which alternately conducting for the positive and negative half cycle respectively, and DC sub power is obtained at the output for each half cycles. Okay, this is the full wave rectifier. So for the full input wave, output is produced. That is why full wave rectifier, and this can be used. The full wave rectifier are commonly of two types: center tapped full wave rectifier and full wave bridge rectifier. We will discuss both. First we will discuss about center tapped full wave rectifier. So the circuit diagram of this center tapped full wave rectifier is shown here. So this is the usual AC power supply, main supply, and this is the transformer, and through this secondary coil diode D1 and D2 is connected, where the secondary coil is center tapped here. Okay, coil is connected and the load resistance is connected with the center tapped coil between the two diodes. Okay, this is a circuit diagram. So how it is working? So when the power supply is on during the positive half cycle, and A become positive and B becomes negative. So the diode D1 becomes forward biased and D2 becomes reverse biased. So that diode D1 become conducting, and so a current is flowing through the circuit just as the dashed arrow shown here. So a current will flow through this circuit as shown here. So a current will flow through this load resistance in this direction. Okay, and then comes the negative half cycle. During the negative half cycle, NA becomes negative with respect to NB, and this N becomes positive. So that diode D2 becomes forward biased and D1 becomes reverse biased. So D1 is not conducting but D2 is conducting, and through which the current is flowing in this direction, like the arrow pointing this direction. So a current will flow through this RL. So look at this two. So during the positive half cycle, current is flowing in this direction across RL, and during the negative half cycle, due to this diode, current is flowing through in this direction, the same direction across the RL. So for both the cycle, for the positive and negative half cycle, the direction of current is same through the load resistance. So for each half cycle we will get an output like this. For this is due to the forward biasing of the diode D1, and for the negative half cycle the same direction current is obtained due to the forward biasing of diode D2, and next comes the positive half cycle due to diode D1, and next comes for the negative half cycle diode D2, and hence we get a same direction current at the output by alternatingly conducting diodes D1 and D2 for the positive and negative half cycles respectively. So for the full cycles of AC input, we will get the output at the end. Okay, this is how the center tapped full wave rectifier works. Okay, so this is the output. This is also pulsating DC, but earlier in the half wave rectifier this region was 0, that is for the negative half cycle the output was 0, but here for the negative half cycle also we are getting an output in the same direction as that of the positive half cycle. So every half cycle is converted to DC. This is also pulsating DC at the output. Okay, the disadvantages of this center tapped full wave rectifier are it is difficult to locate the center tap on the secondary winding. So it is important to center tap the secondary coil, but it is difficult to locate the center tap on the secondary winding. That is one disadvantage. And the DC output is small as each diode utilizes only one half of the transformer secondary voltage. It is shown here because the transformer secondary is center tap. So the total voltage is divided between this half and this half. So only half of the voltage across this secondary transformer is utilized here and half here. So that is one disadvantage. The DC output is small as each diode utilizes only one half of the transformer secondary voltage. This is happening because of the center tapping of the secondary coil. And the third disadvantage is the diodes used must have high peak inverse voltage. High peak inverse voltage we haven't discussed because it need not mentioned in your syllabus, so haven't explained it here. Though you understand that the diode must have high peak inverse voltage, so that is again one disadvantage of this center tap full wave rectifier. So we will discuss this efficiency and ripple factor together for full wave and full wave bridge rectifier after discussing the full wave bridge rectifier. So the circuit diagram of full wave bridge rectifier is as follows. So the first part is same for every rectifier and the second part is different. So the bridge rectifier appears like this. So the 4 diodes are arranged at the arms of a bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4 diodes are arranged on the arms of a bridge, and this point is earth and this point is through a load resistance, and we are measuring the output voltage across this load resistance. The working can be explained as before. So what happens is during the positive half cycle P become positive with respect to end Q. So P is become positive, Q becoming negative, which means the end this point is positive and this point is negative. That means for this this diode and this diode will become conducting, and this diodes will become non-conducting. That is, this will become forward biased and these two will become reverse biased. And that is here the positive come to the positive bar head. So this is forward bias, but here the positive comes to the negative, so this is reverse bias, that is not conducting, but this will be just like a wire, connection wire, and so this positive appears here, so this will become forward biased. Okay, so this will become forward biased, and these two diode D1 D3 allows current to flow through this circuit. Okay, so current will flow through this circuit like this. Okay, and through this the current will flow through this, and what happens when D2 and D4 during the negative half cycle, the next half cycle the P become negative with respect to Q and Q become positive. At this point this D2 and D4 become conducting, and D1 and D3 will become non-conducting. That is, D1 and D3 are reverse biased, D2 and D4 are forward biased. So that again send a current through the load resistance in the same direction. Okay, so these two diodes will be in series with the load resistance RL. Okay, the current flow is shown by the solid arrows. Let us check the solid arrows here. Yes, here it is shown. For D2 and D4 the current is flowing like this. For D4, yes, it is shown like this. Okay, and for D1 and D3 the current flow direction is shown here. Okay, so look at the end points. This is downward, and this is here downwards, and this is upward, and this is upward. That means across the load resistance the direction of current is same whenever D1 and D3 and conducting together and D2 and D4 conducting together. This is the direction of current flow. So whenever the pairs D1 and D3 conducting and D2 and D4 conducting, both the direction of current is same across the load resistance. So we get a direct current, that is same direction current at the output. This is how a bridge rectifier working. Okay, now let's look at the advantages. The advantages of the this bridge rectifier are: the need for center tap transformer can be eliminated by this bridge rectifier. So center tapping is a difficult process in the center tap full wave rectifier that we have discussed in the previous topic. So it can be eliminated by using bridge rectifier. And the second advantage is the output is twice that of the center tap circuit for the same secondary voltage, because in the center tap circuit only half of the secondary voltage is used for each diodes due to the center tapping. Here the full voltage across the secondary is used by each diodes. So output is twice as that of center tapped circuit for same secondary voltage. And also the peak inverse voltage is 1/2 that of the center tap circuit. This is for same DC output. So these are the advantages of full wave bridge rectifier. And the disadvantages are it requires 4 diodes. And the second one is, as during each half cycle of AC input, 2 diodes that conduct are in series. Therefore, voltage drop in the internal resistance of the rectifying unit will be twice as great as in the center tap circuit. This is objectionable when secondary voltage is small. That is, in this circuits, a pair of diodes or two diodes are conducting each time. Therefore, voltage drop, that is internal resistance, voltage drop across internal resistance of the rectifying unit will be twice as that in the center tap circuit. So these two are the disadvantages. Okay, so in the full wave rectifier, full cycle of AC input is being converted into output DC current. Okay, so full wave bridge rectifier is more efficient in the sense compared to center tap full wave rectifier. Okay, these are the advantages and disadvantages. Now we'll quickly discuss the efficiency of full wave rectifier. So we have seen the general formula for the efficiency of rectifiers, and for the full wave rectifier we can see what's the efficiency. Let VAC equal to Vm sin theta be the AC voltage to be rectified, and RF and RL be the diode resistance and load resistance as discussed in the half wave rectifier. So obviously the rectifier will conduct current through the load in the same direction for both half cycles of input AC voltage. So the instantaneous current will be given by I is equal to V by R, that is V by RF plus RL, which is equal to Vm by RF plus RL into sin theta. This is same as in the previous picture, and this is the output for the input we get. This is the current at the output. For each half cycle we get output. Okay, so we need to calculate DC power output and AC power output in order to measure the efficiency. The output current is pulsating direct current. Therefore, in order to find the DC power average current, has to find out as in the case of half wave rectifier also. So, but the difference here is that DC power IDC is twice that in the half wave rectifier. So which was Im by pi in the previous case, which here become 2 times Im by pi, because every cycle is being converted into DC at the output. So DC power output is I square RL, IDC square IR, IDC is 2 Im by pi, so this become 2 Im by pi whole square into RE. And EC input power is given by I RMS square into RF plus RL. This is the sum of the diode resistance and load resistance. And for full wave rectifier, we can see RMS is equal to Im by square root of 2. This IRMS we have calculated this IRMS for half wave rectifier. So look at the derivation we have done there, and here in that derivation we have to add 2 times that integration. That's the difference. So the final result will be Im by square root of 2. Okay. Therefore, the AC power is Im by square root of 2 whole square into RF plus RL, that is IRMS square RF plus RL. So IRMS is nothing but Im by square root of 2. So this will become like this, and so the efficiency can be written as eta is equal to P DC power output by AC power output. DC power output is this value we have written here, and AC power output is this value written here. Cancelling out the common terms and rearranging the terms, we will get like this, and after calculation we will end up with this form, and the efficiency is 81.2%. So in the half wave rectifier it was only 40.6%, but here it is 81.2%, which means this is the double this efficiency is double as compared to that of the half wave rectifier. Therefore, a full wave rectifier is twice as effective as a half wave rectifier. This is the advantage of full wave rectifier. The full complete cycle is getting converted into DC. Also, the efficiency is twice as that of the half wave rectifier. Now we'll look at the ripple factor of this full wave rectifier. We have seen the general formula for ripple factor, which is IAC by IDC, that is the RMS value of AC component, the output, to the value of DC component, and this is the general formula for ripple factor. And we have seen the ripple factor for half wave rectifier, which is 1.21, and for full wave rectification we can see IRMS is equal to Im by root 2 and IDC is equal to 2 times Im by pi. Substituting the value in this equation, ripple factor equation, substituting for IRMS and IDC, we will get ripple factor as 0.48. So the smaller the ripple factor, the more efficient the rectification process or rectifier is. So in the half wave rectifier, rectification is 1.21, and the full wave rectifier it is 0.48 only. That is, it is small compared to that in the half wave rectifier, that which means the full wave rectifier is more efficient than that of the half wave rectifier. That is, the AC component is less in the full wave rectifier than compared to the half wave rectifier. That is, pulsations in the DC is less in the full wave rectifier. Okay, so this is about full wave rectifier. So these are about rectifiers. So we have discussed half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier, in which we have discussed center tapped full wave rectifier and full wave bridge rectifier, their efficiencies, ripple factor, etc. Okay, thank you.